they've become really popular. You see those shareable electric scooters in a lot of places all over the place.
Yeah, they look fun, but the trend has now triggered an investigation by the CDC. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
It's a hot trend.
Feel the wind blowing in my hair and just cruising down the street.
Electric scooters popping up in cities all over the country. Share services like Lime and Bird exploding, making these cost-effective and environmentally friendly scooters easier to get. But with the growing popularity,
I don't think it was anything specifically we saw. It was an outbreak of scooter-related injuries.
Austin,
But we had no idea of how many were occurring a day or a week.
with no current national database tracking scooter accidents, Austin Public Health now plans to team up with the CDC to try to learn more. Their recent first-of-its-kind study finding some surprising trends, including most scooter accidents didn't involve another vehicle.
It's people who riding it who may have a collision with the curb or a post or a pothole.
In San Antonio, this woman thrown to the ground after being hit by an electric scooter. One Dallas rider says her first ride quickly took a turn for the worse.
I was going probably a little fast. I hit where the trolley exchanges, face first, like over the scooter.
Other major cities like San Francisco, Denver, and Los Angeles all struggling to deal with the growing trend, issuing temporary bans on the scooters in the past. Many of those bans have since been lifted or overturned. In Austin, the city planning to use the information from this new study to make new regulations.
Definitely some safety concerns there. And I say down in D.C., I see them all over the sidewalks. They're everywhere.
Oof. And Lime is saying that they're now working with local governments to try to encourage more safety.
Ride safely.
Day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, today's my last day, so I'm glad you finally woke up. Thanks
now
a
you're
lot
really
for
messing with
sleeping
me.
through it.
If it was your last day, then we'd have a montage or something.
And cue the montage.
Yes.
That was, well, I thought it would be my last day on the show, but here I am again. I can't stay away.
And here you are with a special edition of This Happened.
Yeah, so This Happened is I kept my word and I went ahead and I had that baby.
Good
that
job.
did in
Way to
fact
go.
happen. There is our little baby boy who's now not so little anymore.
He is,
3.5 months.
I just held him.
That was New Year? He was my little New Year day. I got to give him a little New Year kiss.
Do you remember that?
Oh, and this was this weekend. He got christened.
Congratulations.
He got christened, and I bought him a really embarrassing little white tuxedo that I just thought was so cute.
That is the most adorable little tuxedo.
I love how you ran the New Year with him, but it was actually me the year before. Which one was better?
We should move on. Anybody else do anything fun this weekend?
I just spent time with family over the weekend. It was great to see them. They're always good for the soul down in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And it was good to be with them.
Great.
Yeah. Will, what'd you do?
Will didn't do anything important at all.
Well, you had
I
nothing,
don't know
right?
if you can hear a little rasp in my voice.
What's that from?
Yeah, Will.
I celebrated my birthday this
Hey! Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday
Okay.
to you.
I had family in from Texas. We started the day off with Soul Cycle. There we all are, sweaty, post-ride. And then that night, the reason that the voice sounds a little raspy. 80s party.
It doesn't get any better
There's
than
my
that.
Whitney Houston tank top and my sweatband.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the song that got your voice to where it is right now?
I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany.
That'll do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
That will
Mine
do
would have
it.
been Whitney.
Oh,
Would have
yeah.
been Whitney.
Running just as fast as we can.
It would have been a good way.
So which Whitney song?
And I wanted to be there. It would have been.
How will I know?
How will I know?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's your favorite song, right?
It is.
Clearly, it just comes right to the
And
tip of the tongue.
I will always love you. Ooh. There we go.
Falsetto alert.
There you
It's
go.
so bad.
There you go.
Oh.
See? Once you
I didn't
left.
say it was good. I just
once
said it
you
wasn't
left-
so bad.
Once you left, we had to have a new singer.
Oh, is
And it
that,
had to be me.
Is that how you got the role?
I'm going to redo the skinny soon.
Everybody else auditions for this job by reading the news. Candace shows up and tries to
Just
sing
to
Whitney
sing.
Houston.
Whitney, Beyonce, the list goes on. Shaka.
All right.
I'm
Next
everyone.
time you want the 80s
Right.
party, you don't have to go to the bar.
No,
You
I
can
just need to show up at the anchor
just
desk.
hang out with
Yeah,
Dennis.
just come here.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
That's the news for...
From ABC News, this is World News Now.
I kind of feel like I have this weird dream that I left the show,
Diane?
and yet here I am.
I had this dream that you left and had a beautiful baby boy. The guy who was sitting here before, he went to cable news somewhere.
I don't even know.
Jack, you were there. Ken, you were there. Tony, Constance, you guys are all
And then
there.
you clicked your heels, and you're still here.
Diane Macedo, everybody. She's
Hi,
back.
everybody.
Welcome back.
I could not stay away. I could not stay away.
It is so great to have you back.
Missed you guys. I missed everybody.
Anything new?
Nah, you know, just a little baby.
Little baby boy.
Just a little baby boy.
Little baby.
I'm a mom now, guys. It's awesome.
You are a mom, and a lot has changed for you.
And I look a little different, I think, since the last time y'all saw me.
Yes, and after being the mother to Candace Gibson for so long, it's nice that you actually got one
I'm used to it. This
that's
one's
blood.
This one's much easier to carry than Candace was for 3 years.
Well, we're happy to have you back. We're going to have some fun this morning, but we also have a lot of news to get to as well.
We do instead. And we're going to start things off with that deadly plane crash in Ethiopia. The search is on for the flight data recorders from the doomed Ethiopian Airlines flight.
We know there were at least 8 U.S. citizens among the 157 people on the plane. American investigators are going to the scene.
And the crash is raising new questions about the Boeing jet that was just delivered to the airline in November. Ethiopian Airlines is among the airlines grounding its fleet of Boeing 737 MAX 8s as a safety precaution. ABC's David Curley has more.
U.S. investigators are racing to this Ethiopian crash site of another brand new Boeing 737 MAX 8. 8 Americans are among the 157 killed, including many aid workers.
We are very, very saddened. Our heart is broken for this tragic accident.
The airline CEO visiting the site just east of the Addis Ababa airport, the jet taking off for Kenya when there was trouble almost immediately.
The pilot mentioned that he had difficulty and he wants to return.
The data shows the pilots were having trouble controlling the aircraft. After that radio call just 6 minutes after takeoff, just more than 1,000 feet off the ground, the data stops.
That would suggest a possibility of an in-flight explosion. That would suggest a possibility of maybe a fire.
It was October that another new 737 MAX 8 crashed in Indonesia. In that case, the Lion Air pilots failed to disengage the autopilot when faulty readings engaged a nose-down safety system. Now, 2 crashes of this new jet in service for less than 2 years.
There's nothing right now that I know of that would lend any credence to being concerned about this particular airplane. These 2 crashes are wildly dissimilar.
Humanitarian and aid groups around the world are grieving the loss of staff who were killed in the crash. From Britain, 36-year-old Joanne Toole, who was going to an environmental conference. Paolo Dieci, founder of an Italian group that works with UNICEF. Staff from 5 UN-affiliated programs lost. There are more than 70 of these aircraft flying in the United States. All 3 carriers say they remain confident in the 737 version. It is still very early in this investigation to determine whether there is any link between these 2 crashes. David Curley, ABC News, Reagan National Airport.
Our thanks to David there. And David mentioned that last point there, that how many are flying here in this country, because Americans, I'm sure also, as we think about those who are lost, who's flying it? American, Southwest, United, U.S. air carriers who fly the MAX. And they say they remain confident in this aircraft as well.
Meanwhile, China ordered all Chinese airlines that are flying this model to ground those planes as they investigate.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll be watching the developments with that one this morning. And we also dealing this morning with more tornado aftermath. For the second Monday in a row, the Deep South is cleaning up after a series of tornadoes.
At least 3 EF1 storms touched down just in Shreveport, Louisiana, just in that area alone. In all, nearly a dozen tornadoes were confirmed in the South, producing considerable damage.
Luckily, there are no reports of serious injuries. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
A second round of destructive tornadoes pummeling the South.
It's coming right at us. Oh, wow.
Watch this EF1 tornado tear across this parking lot in Louisiana. 105-mile-per-hour winds shearing the roof right off this building. This just one of 10 reported tornadoes in 5 states Saturday. This video from Mississippi showing just how fast these twisters move.
Debris right here. It's coming right at us.
That same tornado leaving the town of Walnut in shambles. Similar scenes in Arkansas after an EF1 tornado injured 2 people near Little Rock.
About time they said take cover, it just come through and just did a lot of damage.
Memphis, Tennessee also slammed. 60-mile-per-hour winds crashing a tree through Danielle Williams' home.
This was a close call for you guys.
Yeah, I'm still shaking.
The same system turning roads into obstacle courses in the Midwest. More than 170 crashes reported across Minnesota. This car flipped over onto its roof. It rained so much here in Memphis that ground saturation and powerful winds likely caused this massive tree to fall, splitting this house in half. The southern part of the country is dealing with a second round of severe weather in just the last week. And peak severe weather season is more than a month away. In Memphis, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
Unbelievable picture there.
Just to see that tree right through the house. Wow. Thank you, Stephanie. And Memphis and the South could be in for more trouble today.
And New Mexico and West Texas are expected to get hit with severe storms, damaging winds and lightning, and snow is expected in the western mountains.
Well, President Trump will release his 2020 budget today, and it is expected to set up another fight over the southern border wall. The plan calls for $8.6 billion for that project. It would also replace another $3.6 billion the president diverted from military construction funds under the national emergency. Congressional Democratic leaders are already calling the request dead on arrival.
Now, for Consumer Alert, Chef Boyardee is recalling nearly 3,000 pounds of chicken and rice over a labeling issue. The 7.5-ounce microwavable bowls are actually beef ravioli products, which may include milk and wheat. That is not indicated on the label, so consumers are advised to throw out the products or return them for a full refund.
All right, so we done sprung forward this past weekend. She's already asleep on the job, guys. She's been back for like 5 minutes. Daylight saving time is back again, and the general feeling on social media is the concept needs to be put to rest.
I do always find it funny, though, when people complain about daylight saving. Oh, I lost an hour's sleep. Try working the overnight shift. I lost an hour's sleep.
Right?
What is it like to get an hour's sleep? We have no idea. All right, well, posts like these filled Twitter yesterday. Who decided that daylight saving time needed to start on the middle of the night on the weekend? What's wrong with, say, middle of the afternoon on Monday? Hey, everyone, it used to be 4 o'clock, but now it's 5. Go home.
Let's go.
And check this one out. Daylight doesn't need you to save it. Complete with clapping emojis.
I love a good clapping. Daylight doesn't need you to save it. Then there's the new coffee size one, a user created for the day. A bucket of coffee for today.
Oh, yeah, you're going to need a lot of coffee today.
Yeah, by the way, this is National Napping Day for those of you who want to catch up. But what we've learned, though, especially telling the insomniacs, you can't catch up on sleep.
Do we have to talk about this? This is a bad day for me to talk about this.
It is a bad day because you have been sleeping or getting sleep. I don't care if you do have a kid. You've been getting sleep. You've been getting sleep. Don't come here, Diane, when I've been working here on these overnights and you've been away.
The guy without kids is trying to tell me I've been getting sleep with an infant at home. You wait, buddy. I can't wait.
Well, coming up, how Harley Davidson is